Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarabella and this is my podcast, Insubordinate and Churlish. Before I get into the main topic for today, I just want to talk about finishing this book series, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and how much I enjoyed it. I actually loved it. This book here, I got it for secondhand in Vibes and Scribes in Cork. And it is 4 books in one. It's the first 4 books in the series in this one book. And then I also got this one, which is book 5, Mostly Harmless. I really love these books, actually. They were really beautiful. I loved the world building. I loved the team aspect, the kind of motley crew of characters. One weakness, I thought the characters spent too much time alone and not enough time together on their adventures, which is really strange considering the main appeal, as far as I can understand, of the series is their their team element. So that was a bit of a strange choice, but generally I really loved the series. It's really dark. I'm going to turn on the lights. That's better. The one thing I'd say is the first story is a little bit weak. The first book in the series, I was kind of just going through it rather than enjoying it. I think there's too much establishing kind of shots almost in the book version. In the first book, the characters are all separated before they come together. And they spend too much, he spends too much time establishing all the places that you go to and where the characters come from, and he doesn't build much interest in them as people, I think, or aliens or whatever they are. But then that means it's all set up to really kick off in the second story, the second book, which I really loved. Because again, they've come together as a team and they're having kind of adventures and hijinks together. My favorite character, obviously, is Marvin, the paranoid android. I love him so much. Oh my god, there was parts of him that made me really laugh, like actually out loud. I remember chuckling, and I love when a book is funny enough to make me laugh out loud. For those who don't know the character, he's this really depressed robot, basically, and I think why I like him so much is I think there's a bit of him in all of us, and certainly in me. It's kind of like one of the worst parts of me, where I can also sometimes be like, nobody gives a shit about me, none of you care, life's so hard, like, you wouldn't care if I lived or died. And that is his kind of core character. That's his mantras along those lines are his most common thoughts, verbalizations. So I think he was very relatable and very human for a robot. Anyway, let's get to the meat and potatoes. I'm moving to London and I am scared. The D-Day is coming closer and closer. It is the 14th of May today. I am moving in the first week in June. So I'm about... Oh my god. I'm 3 weeks away today. I've literally just seen on my calendar here. So, why am I going? Or what's my current situation? Let's talk about that first. At the moment, I live in the southwest of Ireland in a very quiet town where not much interesting happens. I live at home with my parents, which is great. I get on great with them. I'm very lucky to be able to do it. But my life has been very abnormal for the last 2 years, I think. I have spent a lot of time alone, or a lot of time with people significantly older than me. I haven't really been living the life that a person should, or at least wants to be having in their late 20s, or in their 20s at all. And I've also been plugging away at music myself. I'm a musician and an artist, releasing my own music. But the gigging opportunities in Ireland are quite limited depending on what you're playing. The kind of genre I like to make is not really one of the 4 genres that's popular here and that's easy to get people to come and see or to listen to. So that's limiting. There aren't many other people playing what I want to play. I feel sometimes like there's not many people similar to me at all. So I needed these kind of 2 years at home, I think, to build myself back up after a lot of anxiety and personal distress. Not the fault of anybody else, but I needed to kind of find myself a little bit at home. But I think now it's time to try for something more for myself. So I have had this plan for a while to move to London. I was originally supposed to be going in March, and then I ended up deferring it because of my current work. That's another thing, my current work situation. I work part-time a few days a week in a job that's tied to I'm a musician. And I love my work, but I don't really do it often enough. I'd like to be working more, to be honest. So I'm not sure, honestly, that's a worry for moving, that I'm not sure if I'll find a situation as lovely in London as I have here. And I definitely don't want to go back to the 9 to 5 or the office job. That's not an option, really. But I'm just choosing to believe and manifest that I can have what I want work-wise in London, and I can have a kind of a self-organised but full schedule and work situation. So that's one of the things I'm scared about. I have no job, no house. I'm going to be going to stay with my sister when I'm over there. But I think it's just one of the scariest things is when you already have a quite good situation, it's very hard to leave that, even if you know that you could have a much better situation. A phrase I like is don't let good be the enemy of great. So just because one thing in your life is good, like my job, I love my workplace, it doesn't mean that the fear of losing that should hold me back from potentially having a life that serves me and makes me a lot happier. But that's scary. That's scary to leave that sort of thing. It'd be scary to leave home. Like I said, I've lived not only in a comfortable, safe home situation with my family, but I have been living in a home with love. And that's something that's really important for me to find again in my next living situation. I don't want to have a situation where I just live with people that I just know and you're like avoiding each other in the kitchen and having those kind of meaningless conversations. I want to be happy and excited to see my housemates. I want to live in a home. So that's really important to me. I am scared of living in the big city. I don't know how much or how well I'm going to cope with that, because as I say, my life has been very quiet for the last 2 years, and I live in a very quiet, very beautiful place. And I know I'll miss the nature aspect. I will have to do my best to find corners of nature in London. I know there's parks and stuff, but it's not the kind of wildness you have in the genuine countryside. But I think I'll have to make that a priority, because outdoorsness and nature is not just nourishing, but a requirement for me, my soul, my overall joy. But why am I going? I just want excitement. I know that my life isn't over yet. There was a time really a few years ago where it was very possible that I could have moved home and just put up a shed in my parents' garden and lived there for a long time, forever, and worked here as a musician and part-timed, and because I was terrified of everything. But I've moved past that, and I'm really proud of that, actually. I started to want things for myself. I was kind of afraid to want for a while, I think. But I started to want excitement and to want to meet more people and to find more of a tribe, find a scene, find musicians that are better than me that I can learn from, find musicians that I can play with and, you know, who play the similar styles of music to me. Date, you know, like I don't really date here. Again, I don't find a lot of people that I have a lot in common with. So to go to a big city with a big pool of people, you know, for dating and having fun, like that's exciting. My sister lives there already, which is great. And yeah, the only way I can put it is I just feel that life isn't over for me yet. And it's time for me to try and live, as I say, a more exciting life before I give up or before I don't know what the alternative would be, even if it is really scary. And even if it doesn't work, at least I'll know that I tried. And I have, thankfully, you know, I still have a home and a place that I can come back to if it doesn't work out. But I don't want to be in that mindset of if it doesn't work out, because I really do think it will work out. I think this is the place for me. There's a lot of negative media out there at the moment as well, and negative opinions. You will be amazed how many people, when I've told them I'm moving to London, have told me it's a bad time to do it. And I'm like, well, that's not very helpful, like, because I'm going anyway, you know, so you might as well be positive about it. But it's come up a lot, actually. So it's hard not to let other people's opinions get to you. Like, just because I didn't move, you know, pre-Brexit or when the economy was booming, I just don't understand that argument, because, or like pointing that out at all, because I didn't. So I can't go back and do it then when times were good. You know, now is the time. Like, I met a man who was like kind of boomer age in his 60s, and he was like, oh yeah, it's not great now, it was great when I was there. Like, he'd only recently moved back. And like, I said to my other friend afterwards, I was like, oh my God, everyone's been so fatalistic about me moving to London. And he was like, yeah, but like boomers always think that things were better when they were young. It's like, yeah, I mean, good for you that you lived there in the 2000s when everyone was like, you know, wiping their arse with money. Excuse me, but like, you know, I just don't understand people kind of pointing out that sort of, like, I don't understand that sort of logic from people, because you know, whatever frame of reference you're using to compare London now and say that it's bad, I don't have that. So I'm going to think it's great because I don't have the time that it was a little bit better maybe lately, you know, or a few years ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago, when you were living in a squat having a great time. Look, no offense to this man, he was a nice man. Yeah, but that's been a hard thing to kind of fight, this kind of negativity from completely unknown people. Nobody I know well has said anything like that to me. But look, I think it's do or die, you know. And yeah, I'm excited for the kind of musical opportunities that could be there. I'm excited for the potential audience that I could tap into, people who might like what I want to do and not just be, you know, egging me on to do something else. If you're wondering, watching this, I make pop music that's quite soul and R&B inspired, funk. So it's pretty hard to sell to Irish people. But Britain loves soul, so I'm hoping that could be really great. So I just wanted to kind of get on here and be a bit real this one. I think I didn't really have any more pressing topics to talk about. This is the only one that's really on my mind at the minute. So I'm gonna let you go. Thank you for watching. Listen to my music if you're interested. It's in my YouTube channel. My artist name is Sarabella, and I post videos every Thursday. So hope to see you back next week. And thank you for spending this time with me.